Have you just gone through your worst 90 minutes as a manager?
Yeah, as a professional in the sport, yeah, definitely. A hard watch, and from the sideline I say a watch, taking the team, aren't I? Really hard one, that. And we've had a good meeting with the players afterwards. It's all right having meetings, we've got to now put our words into actions, but I apologise to everyone who was at the game, fans who can't be at the game. I apologise for that, and I know I'll be under a lot of scrutiny when your team loses 5-0 at home and not won a game at home for an extended period. So I'm not daft, and give me the stick as much as I deserve it, because after losing 5-0 at home, you do.
Was it that early goal that set the trend, unfortunately, for the players to go into the shells a little bit? It was I call it a bit of a freak goal, but it went against you, and from then it went down bank.
Yeah, and the disappointing thing is the things we spoke about. I'm asking the players afterwards, or the messages going in, the things we spoke about, that initial ball should just be cleared, should just be down the pitch, cleared with playing against a really good team. And it should just be cleared, and then like we're on to our players, if you don't shoot, you don't score. And he's taken the shot on and it's gone in. But you shouldn't set the standard, it shouldn't set the tone. Going 1-0 down after 20 odd seconds, it shouldn't set the tone for what followed. So there's no excuses, regardless if you're 2-0 down, 3-0 down. The manner in which we performed was not acceptable.
It made it quite easy, didn't it, for the opposition to just boss the game?
And that's certainly what they did. I'm sure the players' stats will say they run around, but it's how you run around and what intent you run around with. We didn't win at any second balls throughout the football match, which I can really remember. Some of the players looked tentative in the final third with what we're trying to work at. I've got a million things I could say about it, and the main one is to the supporters about that performance. So like I say, I'll take everything that people throw at me after losing 5-0 at home.
You'd want a miracle to happen in the second half to get something out of the game, but the one thing you would have wanted was a response. But then again, another early goal went in, and again you're on the back foot.
Yeah, we were, and let's be honest, it probably could have been more. So I'm not sitting here in denial and trying to justify anything, and it could have been more. So the goal come, we changed shape, obviously changed some personnel, and it could have been anybody. It could have literally been anyone. One or two might walk off that pitch with a little bit of self-pride. But as a manager, I've got to look at what I've done with the players during the week, formations, selections. And I've got to look closely at that in terms of how we're going to look next week. But like I say, I will take every bit of responsibility for that game, like I should do. But we were comfortably beaten. It was walking pace for them, a lot of period in the second half.
You spent a lot of time in the dressing room with your players.
Yep.
I know you're not going to divulge it, that's what's gone on inside the dressing room, but did you get a response? Did you get some feedback from how it hurt them?
Yeah, we did, and I'll let you know what we're talking about. Talking about what we all agreed towards at the start of the season. And losing 5-0 at home, it is unacceptable and shows what we were saying to ourselves in meetings. It is just not there for people to see. You can lose a football match, but there's a way in which you lose a football match. We didn't get anywhere near the opposition, and we were generally talking about what's going to be needed, because I'm gonna have to have some shift now to get these fans back in the team, particularly at home. Because the minimum, what they want to see character, they want to see a competitiveness from the players. We don't want to just be a team who everyone knows they're just going to play nicely. We've got to get that balance right in terms of what we're looking for. We spoke about that. Spoke about preparations leading into games. Some of the players interacted, some of the players didn't. We've got a young group who won't want to interact, but there's certainly the senior ones joined in because we're in there for some time.
Lee Bell as a player gave everything. Lee Bell as a manager gives everything, and it hurts when it's happened to you, what's happened today. Hopefully it can all come right for you next week. A real good week out on the training ground. You've got faith in that squad that you've assembled, and they've got to prove it now.
Of course, I've got faith in the players that we brought to the team, and the players that stuck around with us. I've said it before, Graham. I don't shy away from when these type of things happen to me. These type of things have happened throughout my life, all the time in football, particularly because of the level I played at and some of the clubs I played for. And I will not shy away from this. It's my responsibility to get a reaction out of the players. It's my responsibility to get them players performing on that pitch, because I want the Crewe fans to have a team that they can be proud of. And I'm not saying anything I've not said to the players. They won't be proud of that. They won't be proud of me. I'm going to get some pelters, rightly so. And some of the players don't really understand it because they've never been to another football club. You don't lose 5-0 at home. Well, we have, but you cannot lose 5-0 at home. They're a good team, but by it we did make them look good, didn't we? We did make them look good. So it's the players that haven't been anywhere else. They need to understand the repercussions they're going to get, the criticism they're going to get, and let it hurt them. Because what we've got to do is we've got to get them players back out on that pitch as soon as possible, to try and get a reaction. Starting with next week, obviously Swindon at home.
And just one final point. I know he's won 5-0, the manager of Chesterfield, Paul Cup, but he come to you, he put his arm around you, and that's a top professional manager to somebody who's had a tough afternoon.
He's a class act. He's a class act. We just spoke to him then, a real class act. So I appreciate that. Just give me a couple of words. I was seething at the time, so give me a couple of words. But no, class act, good team, and all the best to him.